It just feels right.
The Capitol Center in Landover, Maryland, and over 15,000 fans for this competition that features tonight the world's best in dance and the men's event. Hello, everyone, and welcome to this primetime presentation of the 11th annual NutraSweet World Professional Figure Skating Championships. These are the young men and women that you cheered as amateurs as they fought for Olympic and world gold medals. But now as professionals, they compete again, head-to-head, under the discerning eye of a distinguished panel of judges. And we are joined by Sandra Bezic, five-time Canadian national champion in the pairs, and also the choreographer of the Emmy Award-winning Carmen on Ice. So much to talk about, but let's begin with the dance. And Torvill and Dean, the tremendous couple from Great Britain, why have they decided to return to competition?
Well, this being the most prestigious professional competition in the world, it's also a measuring stick for the skaters. And having not competed in 5 years, it's the perfect opportunity for Torvill and Dean to reaffirm their dominance in dance.
Well, many in this audience tonight would argue that Torvill and Dean, the best ever in the dance, and so would they honor Brian Boitano as the best male skater ever. He's the defending champion in this competition. He's back, but he'll be skating tonight not 100%.
That's right. 2 weeks ago, Brian injured his hip. He did not skate for 10 days. He's been in therapy. He hasn't been able to train with his usual intensity. However, he is remarkably strong mentally, and he does want to be here. He wants to be competing.
Well, a reminder, this competition includes both technical and artistic programs. The men have completed the technical phase. It gave us a chance to measure how would Boitano skate against the competition and how well would he skate with the injury. Here's how we called it. The 27-year-old Boitano opens defense of his title to the music from Carousel. We'll learn quickly how much that hip injury is bothering him.
Opening with his signature Tano triple lutz, we'll immediately find out whether this injury does affect him. He's on.
Boitano, after his '88 Olympic gold, turned professional. He's won this competition the last 2 years.
Coming up, the triple axel, and the only one in this event. Just perfect.
Boitano, a Bay Area native, a big fan of the 49ers and Joe Montana.
And in a situation like this where an athlete has been unable to train, he must concentrate especially hard on his technique, relying on experience, and coming up with a triple flip, triple toe combination.
Oh my, no problem with that hip. He's passed the test. sensational technical program for Brian Boitano. This audience standing agreeing with the judges as Boitano takes an impressive early lead.
And it's also a very important personal achievement for Brian. Many skaters would not have faced this challenge.
In a class by himself, Brian Boitano, a nearly flawless performance, and we'll return to Landover with a dance right after this.
The NutraSweet World Professional Figure Skating Championships.
Welcome back to the Capitol Center here in Landover, Maryland, the 11th annual NutraSweet World Professional Figure Skating Championships, and this large audience so appreciative of Brian Boitano's magnificent technical program. Though injured, he is in the lead after the first half of that men's competition. Now we go to the dance. That means Torval and Dean, and what are your impressions?
We've seen such a broad range of styles, American, British, Soviet, even an American and Soviet partnership. However, Torval and Dean continue to dominate, not only as great technicians, but also great innovators.
Well, let's get a sample of the 1984 Olympic champions, Torval and Dean, and the three other exciting couples, this from the technical program.
And here are Renee Roca and Gorsha Sur, the first ever American-Soviet couple.
Gorsha defected to the U.S. just before the barriers came down. He's 23 from Moscow, now teaching in Detroit. Renee is 27, a native of this area, Washington, D.C. They've skated seriously as a dance team only 6 weeks.
It's been a hectic time for them. Renee said that she even had to buy this dress off the rack just a few days ago.
Making history, Renee Roca and Gorsha Sur. And in their pro debut, two-time U.S. champions Susan Wynn and Joe Drouar, and they brought some fun and levity to their technical program.
Susie and Joe follow the American dance tradition of a distinct ballroom style, aimed to entertain. Susan Wynn and Joe Drouar. Well done. In contrast, here are the Soviets, Anenko and Sretensky, with a dramatic and sensual approach.
For 3 years, they finished fourth in the World Championships, 86, 87, 88. In fact, they had an affinity for fourth place behind all that Soviet talent, but they really seem to have blossomed with their new freedom as professionals.
More refined than the two previous couples, note that their body positions take more of a balletic approach.
Let's go, Natalia Nenko and Henrik Swietensky. And finally, Torvald and Dean breaking new ground.
They choose to skate without music, which is a simple but very clever idea and one that we've never seen in competition before.
And you can hear the reaction in the audience, some having difficulty understanding this creativity.
At first it appears to be an audio malfunction, but what it does for me, it actually heightens my sense of sound. Listen to their blades. Without music as a guide, this is truly a dance of the mind. They don't touch, often they don't see each other, and yet they're perfectly in unison.
So daring to be different. After the technical program, Torvald and Dean with a commanding lead. And still ahead, more of the Nottingham, England's gift to the skating world, Torvald and Dean, plus Robin Cousins, Brian Orser, and Brian Boitano. Greatest ice dancers in the history of skating continue to redefine the sport. While they've not been visible in competitive events such as this, they have been entertaining worldwide with their unforgettable talent.
Unforgettable, that's what you are. Unforgettable, though near or far.
Who can forget Jane Torvald and Christopher Dean's gold medal performance to the music Bolero? Their innovative style of ice dancing dazzled the world and changed the sport forever.
I think, a lot of people, they all say, well, once you've won the Olympics, that has to be the climax of your life. And what else could excite you after that? And for us, it was really a stepping stone.
And indeed, it was a start. In 1984, Jane and Chris entered a whole new world, that of the professional entertainer. They wanted to direct their own show. And a year later, they did, starting their first world tour.
It was new for everybody, and so we all had to do a lot of learning. And I think that's what was one of the main achievements of bringing a group of skaters together.
After the world tour ended in 1986, Jane and Chris appeared in Ice Capades.
It wasn't as satisfying because it wasn't a total thing that we were involved in, and it felt like we were doing very little compared with what we had been doing in our own show. After 6 months of that, we wanted to do our own show again.
That tour was called Torvald and Dean, the Russian All-Stars. Chris choreographed. Once again, Jane and Chris were in command. So then why enter the competitive world again? Did Jane and Chris need this competition for publicity, inspiration, for a reemergence? They seriously trained for it. They went back to Oberstdorf, the small village in Germany, where earlier they prepared for their '84 Olympic win.
I think we're still in our infancy in development and ideas.
Having been on tour for 2 years, we were just desperate to do new pieces.
A great vehicle to develop new ideas, and it also gives it a forum to display it as well.
Whatever the reason for their re-entry into the competitive world, at this point, Jane and Chris say they do want to slow down their life on the road. Both want to choreograph more. Chris is interested in working with video and film. Jane married last summer, and Christopher is engaged to Isabelle Duchenet, a French ice dancer for whom he choreographs.
Sometimes you can be too channeled, you can be too blinkered, and that certainly within the last few years we've opened up in what we want to do with our life.
Thinks that I am unforgettable too.
Coming up, the magnificent Torval and Dean in their artistic program as the NutraSweet World Professional Figure Skating Championship for Dean. With an apparent unbeatable lead, here now the artistic program for the four-time world champions from Great Britain, Torval and Dean. They've selected John Lennon's music, first Revolution, later Imagine.
Say you want a revolution, well, you know, we all want to change the world. You tell me that it's evil.
The choreography of this first piece is based on action-reaction. Chris instigates the movement, and Jane recoils in response.
But when you talk about destruction, don't you know that you can count me out? All right.
Now in their early 30s, but hardly retiring in spirit. Remember, Christopher in that interview said they're still in the infancy of developing new ideas, and this competition serves as a forum for just that. As he put it, taking off the creative blinkers.
And this piece is at risk, I think, with the audience because it's not a warm, comfortable choice of expression. It's one that's deep and provokes thought.
You ask me for a contribution, well, you know, we all do what we can. But if you want money for people with minds that big, all I can tell you is brother, you have to.
From a technical point of view, the constant twisting and shoving is extremely difficult. They have to be very strong individual skaters to withstand the movement.
All right. All right. We all want to change your head. You tell me it's the institution. Well, you know, you better free your mind instead. But if you go carrying pictures of chairman now, you ain't gonna make it with anyone anyhow.
We've seen the violence of revolution. Now it's peace, unity, and hope.
Imagine there's no heaven. It's easy if you try. No hell below us. Above the only sky. Imagine all the people living
was just thinking that they never make an error.
I hope someday you'll join us, and the world will live on.
Torval and Dean, despite that little hiccup at the end, continuing to impact their sport. And a royal welcome back for this regal partnership from the Capitol Center audience.
The basis of ice dancing is two bodies working closely together, and nobody can match Torval and Dean. Watch their unison.
And now the mistake. Let's see what happened.
Jane lands right down on Christopher's boot. That almost went right down.
And it'll be interesting to see now how the judges viewed their performance.
The scores for James Torval and Christopher Dean. 10, 10, 10, 9.9.
One judge seeing that mistake.
Or
10.
rather, one judge cared about it.
10, 10.
Well, let's get their reaction down to two-time U.S. Olympian John Misha Petkovic.
Well, a perfect total score.
Well, that's nice.
Listen, did you imagine 20 years ago that you were going to have as significant an impact on the sport of figure skating as you have?
No, 20 years ago we were both at school and thinking about what we're going to do as a job when we get older, and we still haven't found a job yet, but we're practicing ice skating at the moment.
Well, that's terrific. Now, does that mean that the skating career does have a point in time when you're going to move on to other things?
Well, we always will be involved with it in some way, whether it be teaching, choreographing, or even performing for a year or so yet. And we're enjoying the performing, but we're also enjoying the challenges of choreographing too.
Will you be back next year?
Well, who knows? We'll wait and see.
Maybe.
Well, congratulations. Did a terrific job, as always.
Thank you.
Thank you.
Well, before their skating success, he was a policeman and she was a secretary. Thank goodness that didn't work out. There are your final standings. Jane Torval, Christopher Dean, nearly perfect champions of this year's competition. And we'll be back after these words from your local station. We're Maryland. We're ready now for the men's artistic program. And defending champion Brian Boitano in the lead, skating magnificently, even though injured. And Boitano, even since the 1988 Olympic Games, has grown tremendously. He has become the consummate athlete artist.
And Boitano thrives on competing, where Orser thrives on performing, and we're going into the artistic phase, which is his strength. But we mustn't forget Robin Cousins. With 10 years of experience, he really does know how to get the job done.
And here are the standings after the technical program. Boitano well in the lead. The fight is for second place between Canadian champion Orser and the 80 Olympic champion Robin Cousins. The tallest ever Olympic champion, Cousins used his long line and style to emerge as the male star at Lake Placid. As a professional, Cousins has won this championship twice, the last time in '87. Last year, he did not compete, admitting at 32 he had lost heart in his skating.
I'm enjoying my skating again. I think last year was the first year that I was skating because I had to, not because I wanted to. And so I got involved in some other things. I've done some theater. I did some summer stock. I have an art exhibition that's just closing in LA. And the skating now is part of that life, not the only thing in my life. And I think the important thing for me was to keep the creativity going, which made the skating much more fun again. And I'm at a point now in my life where I'm older and I'm looking towards longevity with things that I'm doing.
Robin Cousins, his artistic program, the 33-year-old from Bristol, England. The 6-footer has chosen Music of the Night from Phantom of the Opera.
9 times sharpens, high
lightens each sensation. Darkness wakes and stirs imagination. Silently the senses abandon their defenses, helpless to resist the notes I write.
This piece of music, a favorite among skaters, Brian Boitano used it last year. This, from Robin, is a completely different and wonderful interpretation.
Death, music shall caress you. Feel it, secretly possess you. Open up your mind, let your fantasies unwind in this darkness which you know you cannot find. The darkness of the music of the night. Close your eyes, start to turn into a strange new world. Leave all thoughts of the world you knew before. Close your eyes and let music set you free. Only then can you belong to me. Floating, falling, sweet intoxication. Let the dream begin, let your darkest side give in to the power of the music that I write, the power of the music of the night.
Using his height to advantage, Robin has a great commanding presence and a sense of theater. Coming up, his signature, the skid spiral.
Help me make the music of the night.
An immaculate performance by Robin Cousins. Oh, my. He defies the 11 years that have passed since capturing the Olympic gold medal in 1980. Welcome back.
He's a master.
Robin Cousins.
Now let's see if the judges saw it as kindly as these enthusiastic fans.
9.8. 10. 10.
Remember, they throw out the high and the low, add the other 5 scores.
10. 9.9. 10. 10.
49.9. The judges confirm Cousins' obvious popularity with this Capitol Center crowd. And that puts pressure on Brian Orser, the two-time Olympic silver medalist. He'll be the last 2 years, third and fourth behind Brian Boitano. Now 29, he feels he's finally matured.
I'm more prepared this year than I have been in the last 2 years. And even coming out of the Olympics, I'm more prepared, and I think I guess you could say I'm a seasoned veteran at professional skating, which, you know, after the 88 Olympics, I came in here looking like an amateur. And, you know, all the emphasis was on jumping, and that seemed to be, you know, where it had to be. Now I've had a few years to learn about the entertainment business and adapt that to my competitive programs. And so I feel more prepared this year than ever before.
The dynamic 29-year-old from Toronto has selected Istanbul as his music.
Brian has the agility of a cat, and this is going to be a fun one.
Istanbul, Constantinople, now it's Istanbul, now Constantinople, been a long time gone. Constantinople, now Thursday light, on a moonlit night. Every night, Constantinople, Istanbul, now Constantinople, so you and me, Constantinople, so Istanbul, even
No Canadian has ever done what Orser has accomplished. 8 consecutive years the national champion from 1981 through 1988.
Constantinople, you can't go back to Constantinople, been a long time gone. Constantinople, why did Constantinople get the works? That's the one but the turn. Istanbul, Istanbul. Istanbul, even old New York was once New Amsterdam. Why they changed it, I can't say. You just liked it better that way.
Robert McCall, a former teammate and last year's professional dance champion, choreographed this piece.
That's no one, it's but the turn.
22nd to Scott Hamilton in 84 and second to Boitano in the 88 Olympics. High-energy, crowd-pleasing effort. Is this the year Brian Orser finally breaks through as a professional competitor?
Well, his piece was jam-packed entertainment. Robin's was simple and inspired. Which will the judges prefer?
Brian Orser.
They say it's not difficult to do, but it's a great audience-appealing move. Here's the backflip. I wouldn't want to try it.
Nor I. And now the moment of truth.
Your scores for Brian Orser. 9.8. 9.9.
Boy, he's agonizing over those scores. Why aren't they higher?
10.
Oh, there's one.
9.7.
Well, the content was there, and the audience loved it, but it's just an example of how in figure skating you can't always please the judges.
Orser trying, but he can't hide his obvious disappointment. He's fallen into third behind Cousins, and that means he's no higher than third in this competition again. Next up, the leader, Brian Boitano, going for 3 in a row. Maybe the best skater ever will see his artistic performance as the NutraSweet World Professional Figure Skating Championships continue. We're We're back at the Capitol Center. This man is a star who knows how to compete. Yet how does Boitano, an entertainer most of the year on tour, maintain his competitive edge?
I think it's the way that I work, whether it be an exhibition or my tour or the competition. I'm competitive in no matter what I do. So for me on tour, I do everything that I can do on tour so that when I come here, it's really more of the same. When I'm on tour, I try to do every triple that I do every night. And so it is, in my way, it is competitive for me on the road, being on the tour.
The game plan of a champion, and now here's Boitano in action.
And skating to Billy Joel's Big Man on Mulberry Street.
Why can't I lay low? Why can't I say what I mean? Why don't I stay home? Get myself into some boring routine. Why can't I cool out? Why don't I put in my lips? Why do I not shout? Why isn't my issue?
Brian has no trouble doing any of the difficult jumps and spins. But being basically a shy guy, for him, the hardest thing he's had to learn as a pro is to look at the audience and smile.
Why is it every time I go out, I always seem to get in trouble? I guess I made an impression on somebody, know what the hell's the result of rain.
Well, he's got the audience smiling.
So in my small way, I'm a big man on Mulberry Street. I don't mean always, only at night when I'm light on my feet. What else have I got that I'd be trying to hide? Maybe a blind spot.
Now remember, this is a man with an injured hip who could barely walk just 2 weeks ago. He's at the peak of his career, great in '88, but even more magnificent now, Brian Boitano.
The word that comes to mind is power. Look at the height Brian achieves in this double axel.
Oh, almost right out of the frame with that height. A meticulous performance by Boitano, and here come the scores.
Ladies and gentlemen, the scores for Brian Boitano. 10. 10. 10. 9.9. 10. 10. 10. The total score, 50.
No surprise, he's perfection personified. Misha?
So what can I say?
What can you say? You're happy that my hip's okay, and I feel great for tonight. I mean, I'm glad they like the programs. You know, it's nice to know that you're going in a good direction and it's being approved by people, especially when you try something different like I did tonight for the artistic. It's a different style for me. For me to go at the extra length of trying to do something different and then having them like it, it's icing on the cake. I can do more of it.
Well, now listen. One question. I mean, you've had trouble with this hip for a couple weeks now. I mean, how can you overcome that kind of discomfort, pain, which has got to throw you off a little bit?
I've learned a lot in my years of skating. I mean, I skated 86 national championships on a totally pulled tendon in my ankle. I think from learning experiences like that, just having to go out and do it at certain times like that, the hip injury was nothing compared to that ankle, and so I drew from that.
Now, if you were eligible for the Olympics, would you be in the 1992 Olympics?
You know, I really would like to, but I'll tell you, the pressure backstage here, it felt like an Olympics again. They were all great skaters, and it was a lot of stress backstage. It wasn't just another show.
Well, you did a terrific job, and you overcame the stress, and congratulations.
Thank you.
Indeed, confirming his dominance again, 3 in a row for the brilliant Boitano, all while blocking out injury. Veteran Robin Cousins edges out Brian Orser for seconds. Boitano providing a perfect ending to a great night of skating. For Sandra Bezic and John Misha Petkovich, this is Dick Enberg wishing you a pleasant good evening from Landover, Maryland.
The NutraSweet World Professional Figure Skating Championships have been brought to you by Diet Sprite with 100% NutraSweet. Next, enter a world of gothic romance where one man is torn between his hunger to kill and his burning desire to love. It's the series premiere of Dark Shadows. Followed by another captivating new episode of this exciting series. It's a double bill of Dark Shadows. Tonight, only on NBC.